Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you're doing great. Welcome to the second webinar of this series of webinars that the regional team are hosting on the IFMSA YouTube channel. So, welcome here. Today's webinar it's about IFMSA policy and policy making. So let's get started. Okay, so first, wait. If you have any question, you can put it on the live chat that we have on the YouTube channel, and there we have a space for questions at the end. So feel free to put all your concerns, all your questions, anything you want to share with everyone there, and at the end we're going to read them. Okay, so I'm Antonio Romero Rubio. I'm the ExRep and Policy Making Assistant for the Americas, and let's start the webinar. So here's the agenda. First, we're going to talk about the IFMSA policy documents. What are they made? How are they made? Which are the checkpoints to submit one? And how you can be involved. That's a very important point. Also, we're going to talk about IFMSA events on how you can get involved in this process through these events, and how can you use the policy documents on external meetings. Okay, so what are the policy documents? So the policy documents are a stance of the Federation, and it's in the bylaws chapter 16. So these are the documents that has the voice of the 1.6 million medical students around the world. These documents expire after 3 years. That means that if a policy document is submitted at the, in this case, for example, August meeting 2019, it will be valid until the August meeting 2022. The topics that these policy documents address are topics that are emergent, that need updates, that are expiring, or are linked to the global priorities. I hope you all know what global priorities are. And if you don't know global priorities, it's the goals that IFMSA have for internal and external areas. So here we are working on many global priorities, and you can look for them in the server. I won't get through that much. And there is a new system that was adopted in the August meeting 2016 in Mexico. So as adopted in that meeting, a policy document it's confirmed by a policy statement and a position paper. A policy statement is a short and concise document that has the most important the important position of IFMSA for specific fields, and it has all the call of actions for all the stakeholders or the relevant stakeholders for that specific topic. And after the policy statement, you will have the position paper. The position paper is a long document that has all the information that support the policy statement, and it has all the background information and discussion needed of the topic that we are addressing on the policy document. I hope that that's clear. If you don't if you have any questions about this, you can go to ifmsa.org/policy-documents, and then you will have a list of all the policy documents that IFMSA has, and you will see that all of them has a policy statement at the beginning and then the position paper. Remember, the policy statement, it's a short document that has the call of actions, and the position paper, it's more detailed. Then to write the policy documents, there is a call sent by two people. The first people is the IFMSA TO. They select the topics that we are going to work on for the policy documents. This call is sent about 2 to 3 months before the August or March meeting. In this case, it was August meeting, and then you can apply to be part of the small working group that develop these policy documents. But also, NMOs has the possibility to develop their policy documents with their small working group. So NMOs can also open a call for small working groups to develop policy documents. After you have the policy documents, you need something called the policy commission. And a policy commission, as you can see in the screen, it's conformed by 2 NMO members, 1 TO member that is relevant to the topic of the policy documents. And this commission ensures the quality of the policy documents. It ensures that it is evidence-based, and it has to collect and incorporate all the NMO feedback. I will talk about this later. Also, it will coordinate the discussion during the General Assembly. So before a checkpoint that I will show you after, there has to be a call for the TO or of the NMO that is submitting a policy document for the Policy Commission, and all of you can apply to be these 2 NMO members, and then they will do this job. They will supervise the small working group that developed the policy documents. And in the General Assemblies, there is a point of the agenda in the general schedule for the policy discussions. There you can attend this session, and you will be in small working groups for each policy document, and the Policy Commission will moderate this discussion where you can share your final thoughts or final inputs about the policy documents. It is very important to remember that all amendments before the GA has to be sent before the GA, or if you present them in the policy discussion, they will be voted upon the plenary. So to submit a policy document, there are several checkpoints that you have to have in mind. The first checkpoint is the January or June 10th checkpoint. In this checkpoint, the draft of the policy statement and policy position paper, also the composition of the Policy Commission, has to be sent with the NMOs. And there has to be a call for feedback. So that means that right now we are in this point for the August meeting. We have, before the June 10th, the executive board share all the policies, the draft of the policy statements and policy commissions that were submitted, also the ones submitted by the NMOs. So right now you can give your feedback. You have until tomorrow to do so. So please go to the NMO server if you are an IFMSA NMO president, and share it with all your members. You still have 24 hours to share the draft of the policy statements, so everyone can read them before and give their input. Remember, if you don't do it before the GA, you can do it on the policy discussion at the GA, but it is very hard for the Policy Commission and the small working group that developed the document to add your feedback during that discussion. And remember that amendments will be voted upon plenary. So I recommend you to do it before. So then, until February 1st or July 1st, the final policy statement and position paper are submitted, and it has to be co-proposed by 2 NMOs from different regions, or by the team of officials, as I told you before. So even though the call was open by 1 NMO, it has to be submitted by 2 NMOs in order to be valid. Then you have until February 19th or July 19th to submit your amendments to the policy statement and policy position paper proposals, and these are going to be incorporated by the proposer. Remember that if you do it after this time, it will be voted upon during plenary. And there is something very important to know, that if you don't fulfill the first checkpoint, the proposal will deem invalid. So you have to take that in mind if you want to propose a new policy document or another one that you want to renew. You have to do it before that date. If you don't do it before that date, your proposal will deem invalid. So after knowing how the policy documents are conformed, you know how to submit it, then how can you be involved? Well, the first and most important part, or most important thing that you can get involved in, is applying for the small working groups and policy commissions that are proposed by the TO. These calls are sent through the NMO server and the general server, and we're going to talk about later on how you can subscribe. You can also remember that your NMOs can also propose their policy documents. So if you want to do this, I recommend you to talk to your national team of officials to discuss if they think this is relevant with your NMO president. And after this, you have to talk with the relevant TO, so you know if they are not going to submit one, or they are not working on one similar to that, or if there is or if there is one that it's already done. So please talk with all these people before you submit your proposal. And also you can go to ifmsa.org/policy-documents, where you will find a list of all the policy documents that IFMSA has by the moment. Another way that you can get involved is giving your inputs on the drafts of the policy statements. Remember that you right now are on this period, so you can go through the policy proposals. They are on they were sent on the general servers. If you want to have access to them, please, at the end, I will give you my phone number, my WhatsApp number, and my email, and send me a message, and then I can share with you this link, so you can go through the policy proposals, and then you can give your input. If you do it after this time, you can send an amendment to the executive board, and it will be incorporated in the final version. Remember that up until GA, amendments and policy statements, up until the GA, you can send amendments, and you can participate on the policy statement discussions, policy document discussions that are going to happen on the GA. Another way you can participate is, as I told you, there is one email thread on the NMO server that it's about the policy proposals. You can go there, and then you can start talking about something of the policy documents if you want to do so. And the last way to be involved is to use the IFMSA policy documents at a national and a local level. This is very important because these documents has the voice or the stances of a lot of million or 1.6 million of medical students around the world. So you can use these documents and say, so IFMSA that it's that has 1.6 million members say this. So it will give you a stronger voice when you talk with externals, when you talk with government, when you talk with someone else, when you deliver a statement. If you say these kind of things, it will help you on your advocacy process. So please use them at the national and local level. Also, you can translate these documents to your own language. So if you have any problems with using the policy documents, you can also approach me or any of the liaison officers or the vice president of external affairs, and we can all help you with this on how you can use them at the national and local level. It is very important because not all NMOs has their own policy documents. You don't have to have your own policy documents. Only if you think it is very necessary, if you really need it, like all in your language, or you have any trouble with something, you can do it by yourself, or also if you want to. but we recommend you to use the IFMSA policy documents because there are there is a policy commission that supervises these documents, so it has a good quality and is evidence-based. It is voted upon plenary, so it's voted for for all the members that are part of IFMSA. So it's a document that it's approved almost worldwide. So I recommend you to use them at the national and local level. Another way that you can be involved, right now we have a call open for the small working group on the regional implementation plan on human resources for health collaborators. We're wondering, what is this? So on the upcoming GA, the executive board, that means the vice president of external affairs, will propose a bylaw change proposal to include this term on the bylaws, that is a regional implementation plan. A regional implementation plan is a document that says how a region will implement a policy document or some policy documents. In this case, for the Americas, we're going to use 2 policy documents in order to talk about the topic of human resources for health. So this document will say how in the Americas region are we going to work human resources for health in external representation, and it will be valid for 2 years. That means for the 2 upcoming terms. So if you are really passionate about human resources for health, or even if you don't have experience in the field of advocacy, of policymaking, I recommend you to apply. You have until tomorrow before 23 hours 59 minutes. It's GMT. Remember this. In the Americas region, I think we are GMT -5, -7. So please check that. So it will be around this hour of, no, it will be around, this or +2 hours of tomorrow. So please check that and make sure you submit your application before. This call was I think we are having some difficulties. I don't know where this got disconnected. Wait a second. Well, I will go to the back to the slides. I will go back. Sorry, I think this disconnected. So I was talking about the TO policy proposals. This is a list of all the TO proposals for the August meeting. Here you will see all the list of all the policy documents that are going to be proposed by the TO. On the second column, you will see all the liaison officers that are in charge of the policy document, and then the two NMOs of the policy commission. Then this is the list of the NMO policy proposals. These are the ones that NMO proposed. Here you will find on the third column the NMO that proposed them. On the fourth column, the liaison officer that is in charge. And on the fifth column, the two NMOs part of the policy commission. Okay, so by this moment, you know how to be involved in the policy, in the IFMSA policy making process. I hope everything is clear by now. If not, go to the YouTube chat, live chat, and write your comments or write your questions over there so we can answer them at the end of the webinar. Another way that you can get involved is through IFMSA events. So this is first on the General Assemblies. On the March meeting and on the August meeting, you can have you can be part of the pre-GA, where we have the pre-health public health leader trainings, global health advocates, lead, HIT, etc. These are all workshops where you can get involved on external representation, advocacy, and policy making. Also, you can participate on the NMO management and president sessions, where you have ExRep sessions and policy making sessions. Also, you can also participate at the policy discussion and adoption, also at the theme events and some trainings. And the regional sessions, we also have external representation priorities, so we also work on that. And also in plenaries, you can participate in everything of this. These are some pictures of the on last year March meeting and August meeting. Also, you can participate on the Americas regional meeting. Remember that the regional meeting happens in January. You can be part of the pre-regional meeting. Well, we also have the same workshops as the pre-GA. You can participate in the ExRep sessions. This is something new that we started this year. You can participate proposing ExRep priorities. You can participate also at the theme events, some trainings, and plenary simulations. And also at your national general assemblies, where you can have policy documents adoption, policy document discussion, ExRep sessions, theme event, training, plenaries. And remember, you can invite the TO international team and, of course, the regional team, and we can be part of your national general assemblies. Another way that you can get involved on policy making is the external meetings. In the external meetings, you mainly use the policy documents that are already done, and you write some statements to be delivered in some external meetings. Not all external meetings. In all external meetings, IFMSA, it's allowed to deliver a statement, but in most of them, and remember that the framework to participate. Okay, sorry. I thought I was sharing my screen. I will show you again the list of the TO proposals. You can look them here. Here are the NMO policy proposals, and here I talk about the General Assemblies, the pictures, the Americas Regional Meeting, and the National General Assembly. So we are here. And in the external meetings, you can use the policy documents. And a way that you can get involved in the external meeting is first joining the IFMSA email servers. You can go to this link that I put on here that you can see. If you go there, you will see the several the different servers that we have. We have the IFMSA general server. Each standing committee have its own server, And also we have the regional server that you can subscribe to the America server, where all the calls for external meetings are sent. So this is the first step for you to get involved. Also, you can follow IFMSA on all social media. This is Facebook. You can follow IFMSA on Facebook, and you can change your settings so you can see IFMSA post at the very beginning of when you enter to IFMSA. Also, you can join the America's Facebook group on Facebook. You can follow IFMSA on Instagram, on Twitter, and you can go through the website where you can see the news, and there some calls are shared. I will share with you some meetings and how policy documents were or are going to be used here. Here is the FEPA-FEMPA-FAMS conference that happened on from March 23rd to March 26th in Cartagena, Colombia. This is the delegation of IFMSA that represented us. It was mainly conformed by ASEMCOL's members. So here we talk with all the people that is in charge of medical education in the region, and we talk about our document of accreditation of medical schools. So it was very fruitful because we share how IFMSA is working and how the accreditation agencies can work with our NMOs. If you have any question about this, you can approach me and I can share more information about this with you. Also, in the WFME World Conference that was held on from April 7 to April 10 in South Korea, sorry. This is where all the people from that works on medical education around the world gathers together at the World Federation of Medical Education World Conference. Here we have a student task force where all students are very active, and IFMSA has a huge delegation there. And there is also the ECOSOC Youth Forum that was held on April 8th to April 9th in New York, United States of America. In this, it's a forum that it's kind of the General Assembly for the United Nations, but for youth. So here, youth leaders from all around the world gather together and discuss some issues. It was a very good meeting. Here, IFMSA also participated. Another meeting that was really important for our region, it's the ECLAC Forum of the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean on Sustainable Development 2019. It happened from April 22nd to April 26th in Santiago, Chile. Here we have a delegation of the regional, of the Americas region, where our regional director, Gabriela Cipriano, participated. Rodrigo Sanchez, our CBRA, participated, and 3 members from NMOs participated in the meeting as part of the Americas IFMSA delegation. So here, mainly the policy document that was used was the one that talked about SDGs. And this meeting is very important to me because I had the chance to participate in the first meeting that happened in the region in 2017. And also I participated in the development on the SDG policy document that was adopted last year on the ECOS meeting. So this was very important for me personally. So as you can see, you can be part of the meeting and you can be part of the development of the policy documents. So this is a great example of how you can get involved, as I did for these kind of meetings. Another meeting was the WONCA Americas. WONCA is the World Federation of Family Medicine. It was held here in Mexico from May 1st to May 4th in Tijuana, Mexico. It was a meeting from the Americas. It's WONCA CIMF. CIMF is American Conference. Oh, I forgot the name in English. Iberoamerican Confederation of Family Medicine, that's CIMF. So that's the Americas office. and it also includes Spain and Portugal. That's why it's called Ibero-America. So here we are, on your very right of the screen, you will see um, our score are A, then there's me, then there's the president of CIMF, and then it's the secretary general. So in this meeting, we couldn't deliver a statement because it was mostly a congress. So a lot of people presented some work they've done on their primary healthcare units and so on. So it was more academic, more than for making advocacy, but we had the chance to talk with the president-elect of WONCA. So yeah, it was very fruitful, even though we couldn't use a policy documents. Another important meeting was the pre-World Health Assembly and the 72nd World Health Assembly that was held from May 15 to May 28 on Geneva, Switzerland. Here we have a very important part of the delegation that was from the Americas region. We have around 8 people, including part of the regional team. From the regional team, we have Rodrigo Penados, that is the development assistant. We had also Michelle Hood from Quebec. She's the SCAF array, and I was there. It was amazing to see how you can really use the policy documents that we have. We used mostly of all of the policy documents that we have on IFMSA, and we make statements about them so we can deliver them to all the health ministers of the world. So it was really, really amazing, and this is a huge experience. I recommend you to apply, and to apply to this meeting, you can do it on December of this year. So so follow up the IFMSA so you can see the call and participate. Other external meetings that are going to happen that are important to the region are the high-level political forum that happens each year on July in New York, in the United Nations headquarters. It's a forum where we talk about SDGs. Then we have the 10th International AIDS Conference that is going to happen here in my city from July 21st to July 22nd. Then the EMI conference that will happen from August 22nd to August 29th in Vienna, Austria. Then the CCI FELSOSEM Congress, that it's like the General Assembly for FELSOSEM. FELSOSEM, it's like a research federation that works in our region, and we are invited. So it's going to be announced where and when it's going to happen. So follow up IFMSA to know more about this. Also, the United Nations General Assembly that happens every September in the United Nations headquarters in New York. And also the United Nations high-level meeting on universal health coverage. This will happen one day before the General Assembly start from the United Nations. So IFMSA will be part of this. We have been very active on the high-level meeting on universal health coverage. Our president has attended a meeting before. Our vice president of external affairs has been very active on advocating for including 2 topics that are meaningful youth participation and sexual and reproductive health and rights in this final draft. So IFMSA it's very active in this topic. Also, you can participate in the WHO Americas Regional Committee. That means the Pan American Health Organization Regional Committee Executive Board meeting that will happen at the end of September, beginning of October in Washington, D.C. So the call will be sent between the last days of July and between the mid-August. So keep in touch with us so you can see the call and you can participate on this meeting. This is the most important meeting in our region because you can go to Washington to see all the health ministers from the Americas region, and we deliver some statements that come from our policy documents. So it is very impressive. It's as the World Health Assembly, but only for the Americas. So follow IFMSA so you can be part of this. So how can you really have a good application and you can get into the delegation? Well, in every call, we have been sending the how to write an application manual. This is a new manual that IFMSA has that you can go through it and you can have very good tips on how you can write your applications. We share with you some recommendations to have a very good application, so your application is good quality and you have more chances to get into the delegation. So please look for that. If you want it, I can send it to you. Please contact me. So that's all for our webinar for today. I hope it was very useful for you. Please feel free to write all your questions in the live chat that you have on the right of the screen if you don't have full screen on. If you have it on, please turn it off. And then you will see on the right a live chat section where you can ask all your questions. Please go through that. I will give you some minutes to do so. And sorry for all the technical issues that we have been facing. So I'll give you like 2 minutes. So I think there are no questions right now. So as there are no questions, well, you can contact me here. This is my email and this is my WhatsApp, my Instagram, my Facebook. You can contact me through these channels. Oh, okay. So we have a question from a MP. And it says, in past months, I wanted to form part of the IFMSA delegation to the CLAC in Santiago, Chile, but actually I have a doubt. I sent my applications. Do I have to attend this event or must my application go through an evaluation process or acceptance? Thanks for your time. Greeting from Ecuador. So Paul from IMP, well, no, it's Damari. Yeah, the ECLAC event it's already has already passed. So yeah, you submit your application and then part of the regional team evaluate them. In this case, it was me and the regional director. We evaluated the candidatures, the applications, and we selected the 3 that were the ones with the high scores. So those were the ones selected to be part of the delegation, and the head of delegation, of course, was our regional director. So yeah, if I remember well, when we shared the results on who was selected and who was not, we also send them. Well, we send that through the NMO server, well, through the America server, and we also send them an email directly to the applicants. So make sure you don't have the email on your spam place on your email, because maybe when we send you the email, it go there. But yeah, we have already answered. Well, the call has closed, the event has happened, and we have sent you an email. So please go through that. And if you have any more questions about that, you can contact me personally. So I think there are no more questions. Thank you so much for being in this webinar. I hope it is very useful for you. I hope you participate in giving your inputs to the policy proposals that are going to be voted on this August meeting on Taiwan. If you have any questions, please send me an email, contact me through WhatsApp, Instagram, or Facebook. I'm very active in my social media, so I'm waiting for your doubts, concern, questions, comments, whatever. If you want to chat, whatever. So thank you so much. I am very happy with this. Sorry for the technical issues that we faced today, and I hope you enjoy your webinar. See you later. Bye.